Deep space was never silent. Invisible currents of radiation whispered across the stars, carrying the static of a billion suns. But tonight, the whisper changed. On the outer rim of the Milky Way, a listening station drifted alone. Its crew, 3 board technicians and 1 tired commander, had spent months tracking nothing but routine trade signals. Then the blackness screamed. A pulse of energy rolled through the void, strong enough to rattle every panel of the station. Screens flashed white. Instruments died. Then came back with a single repeating pattern. 3 short bursts, 2 long, 3 short. Again and again, the commander, Lieutenant Reyes, leaned close to the console. Is that Morse code? The youngest technician, eyes wide, nodded. It's the word return. Over and over, Reyes stared at the endless dark outside the viewport. No human ship was scheduled anywhere near this sector. No beacon from Earth should reach this far. And yet the word kept pounding. Return, across the galaxy. The mighty Galactic Council gathered in their marble-bright chamber. Holographic stars spun above a circular table where 20 alien species argued in urgent voices. Their meeting was supposed to be routine budget lines. Border disputes, but the signal reached them within minutes. The humans are stirring again, hissed Counselor Vac, a thin reptilian elder whose golden eyes never blinked. This cannot be coincidence. A broad-shouldered amphibian slammed a heavy hand on the table. Impossible. Earth was nearly destroyed during the expansion wars. Their fleets are dust. Yet, shimmering image of the energy pulse floated over the chamber. It was unmistakably artificial. And powerful. More powerful than anything the Council itself could generate. A quiet voice cut through the shouting. Council Speaker Meridian, oldest of them all, said only one word: prepare. On Earth, the night sky over the Atlantic erupted with light. Hidden shipyards beneath the ocean's surface came alive, doors of reinforced titanium sliding open after decades of silence. One by one, giant human warships rose through the waves, hulls marked with the blue and silver crest of the United Terran Fleet. The media never saw them. No satellite reported their climb. Cloaking fields shimmered like heat haze and then vanished. To the ordinary people of Earth, the ocean simply glimmered with strange lightning and went dark again. Admiral Amina Holt watched from the bridge of the flagship Vigilant. Her crew moved in silence. It's trained for this night since birth. The Council will know by morning, her first officer whispered. They already know, Holt said, and they will fear. Far away, panic spread among the Council worlds. Civilian networks filled with rumors, ancient humans building hidden weapons, secret fleets forged in deep oceans and hollow moons. Every alien newsfeed repeated the same phrase: return. Children asked their parents what it meant. Nobody had an answer. In the shadow of a red dwarf star, a scout fleet of insect-like Viren warships crept toward the coordinates of the first signal. Their leader, Captain Zier, believed the humans could be crushed before they became a threat again. He never had the chance. As the Viren ships slid from hyperspace, their sensors went black. Space around them shimmered, as if the stars themselves bent. Out of that bending darkness emerged a single human dreadnought, colossal and silent. Its armor plates reflecting distant suns like liquid metal. Identify yourself. Captain Zier barked across every channel. The dreadnought gave no name. Instead, a deep human voice filled every Viren mind at once, as though it came from the fabric of the universe. You started this. Then the dreadnought vanished. No jump signature. No trail. Only emptiness. The Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session. Fear smelled sharp in the air. Some demanded immediate war. Others whispered of surrender. Counselor Vac's scales trembled. If humanity truly returns, our fleets are nothing. Their old legends spoke of weapons that cut gravity itself. Speaker Meridian closed her eyes. Legends, perhaps. But tonight the legends walk again. A young aide rushed in, his face pale blue with terror. New transmission. From the human sector, the chamber lights dimmed as the message played. A hologram of Earth appeared: blue oceans, white storms, glowing cities. And across its surface burned a single word in massive shifting fire: return, on the Vigilant. Admiral Holt received a silent nod from her communications officer. Every council world now knew the fleet existed. Their panic was spreading faster than light. Holt turned toward the vast dark outside her window. Stars stretched forever, cold and endless. Yet she felt them watching. Begin Phase 2, she said. Engines the size of skyscrapers rumbled. Across the solar system, thousands of cloaked human ships activated in perfect unison. Their power signatures pulsed once, just enough for every alien sensor to. Kachand, then they disappeared into the void. The council's chamber vibrated as alarms echoed from every planet in their network. Fleets reported radar ghosts, vast shapes sliding through space, sometimes 100 at a time, then gone. Panic turned to raw fear. Merchants fled trade lanes. Soldiers begged for leave. Speaker Meridian stood alone beneath the holographic stars. "This is no accident," she said. "Humanity strikes back." Outside the chamber windows, the great city planet of Archeon glimmered beneath its own auroras, and there, for the briefest second, a shadow darker than night crossed the sky, a human warship, enormous, silent. And gone before anyone could scream, the signal kept pulsing across the galaxy, steady and unstoppable. Return, return. The galaxy held its breath. In every star system, alien civilians watched their skies. They feared a sudden flash of blue fire, a sign that the humans had come. Trade routes emptied. Patrol fleets huddled near homeworlds, and still the strange pulse kept repeating across the void. Return, return, return. On the city planet Archeon, seat of the Galactic Council, panic pressed like a storm. Council Speaker Meridian stood before a wall of shimmering data. Dozens of reports arrived each hour. Our radar ghosts, missing ships, whispers of colossal silhouettes blocking starlight. She faced the gathered leaders. "We cannot confirm a single human casualty. We cannot even confirm a single human ship," she said. "Yet our people are terrified. We need proof before we act." Counselor Vac hissed, his golden eyes wide. "Proof? You saw the dreadnought in the Viren sector. You heard their captain's mind invaded. What more proof do you need?" Arguments flared, voices echoing against the high crystal ceiling. Outside, lightning raked the planet's upper atmosphere, though no storm clouds formed. Far from the council, the human flagship Vigilant glided through the black ocean of space. Admiral Amina Holt stood on her bridge, calm and deliberate. "Status of the Ghost Protocol?" she asked. Her first officer replied, "Fleet-wide cloaking stable. 72,000 warships active and invisible. No council sensor can hold a lock for more than 3 seconds." "Good," Holt said. "Let them feel us before they see us." Around her, the crew worked in silence. Their faces carried the quiet determination of a people who had hidden, built, and waited for centuries. Below them, Earth rotated in silence, its night side glittering with lights. From orbit it looked peaceful, but beneath the oceans more shipyards rumbled awake. On the moon of Trethys, a patrol squadron of insectoid cruisers detected a sudden shadow across their sensor grid. Captain Kryn adjusted the scanners, heart racing. The shadow grew until it covered an entire hemisphere of the planet below. "Identify," Kryn barked. No answer. The shadow split into hundreds, then thousands of dark-shaped warships of impossible size, each vanishing before the next appeared. Kryn's second officer whispered, "It's like chasing smoke." Then the transmission cut to static. Trethys Command never heard from them again. Across the galaxy, same terror unfolded. Merchant ships in the Orion Spur reported a phantom fleet crossing their path at light speed. Outposts near the Crab Nebula saw massive blue flashes that left after-images in alien eyes. A mining world swore. It heard human voices over every communication channel, hundreds whispering the same word: return. The council attempted calm. Public messages claimed unconfirmed phenomena, but civilians were not fools. Entire planets began blacking out their night skies, turning off power grids to hide. Inside the council chamber, chaos ruled. Counselor Vax slammed a clawed fist on the table. "They are playing with us. We must strike first before they strike us." A tall, crystalline envoy from the Lyrians shook her head, her body ringing like glass. Strike what? Empty space? Ghosts? They vanish as soon as we aim. Speaker Meridian raised a hand. If we attack shadows, we reveal our fear. And fear is exactly what humanity wants. The chamber fell silent. Fear was indeed spreading fast. Admiral Holt watched the chaos unfold on intercepted broadcasts. Alien news anchors shouted about the silent armada. Holt almost smiled. The name pleased her. Phase 2 complete, her officer said. They're seeing what we want them to see. And Phase 3? Holt asked. Ready when you give the order? Holt gazed at the endless stars. Not yet. Let the fear grow. Let the Council tremble. Meanwhile, deep in an asteroid belt on the edge of Council territory, an old human relic awoke. The Beacon of Soul, a massive station hidden for centuries, activated its long-dormant engines. Its hull, carved with ancient Earth languages, pulsed with light. Nearby alien prospectors screamed as a blinding signal burst outward, brighter than a supernova. It carried no words this time, only a low, thrumming heartbeat that echoed across hyperspace. Every Council sensor heard it. Every alien leader felt it in their bones. Back on Archeon, Speaker Meridian stood before the great windows of the chamber. The city's towers glittered. But above them something moved. A single shape slid across the stars, so vast it seemed to swallow the moonlight. No alarm sounded. No radar pinged. The figure simply drifted, blacker than the void. Before melting away, Meridian whispered to herself, a shadow fleet. Her aide, pale and shaking, approached. Madam Speaker, every world reports the same sighting. Entire constellations are disappearing behind something huge. Meridian turned to face the Council chamber. The humans are not just back, she said. They are everywhere, out among the silent dark. Admiral Holt gave the quiet order. Transmit the mark across the galaxy. Hidden human warships pulsed their drives, one-time brief bursts of light that spelled out a single chilling pattern, impossible to mistake. It raced across every star chart and burned into every mind. You started this. The lights faded. Silence returned. But the message lingered, carved into the memory of every species that dared look at the night sky. In the Council chamber, alarms wailed as if the planet itself had been struck. Vax shouted for fleets, for weapons, for war. Others screamed for peace. The Great Alliance teetered on the edge of collapse. Speaker Meridian raised her voice above the roar. We are no longer facing rumors, she said. We are facing humanity. And they are speaking to us outside. A faint blue glow shimmered in the upper atmosphere like a warning fire across the heavens. The galaxy had never felt so small. The colony world of Andros V floated in quiet orbit around a golden sun. For 100 years it had been a peaceful trade hub, famous for wide crystal oceans and towers of silver stone. That peace ended in a single heartbeat. At 0300 local time, every satellite in the Andros system went dark. Traders looked up from glowing streets as the sky flickered. First Violet, then Black Dot Commander Reth of the Andros Defense Fleet slammed a clawed hand on his console. Report. What is blocking our grid? His officers scanned frantically. No answer came. Radar showed only empty space. Then the stars vanished. A shadow the size of a continent slid across the sky, blotting out the sun. At first, citizens thought it was an eclipse, but the shape kept growing, silent and cold. Lights along its undersides flickered like distant lightning. Unknown object entering low orbit, an officer shouted. Length. Impossible. Over 40 kilometers and still extending. Panic erupted across the planet, streets filled with screams. Children clutched parents as the alien sun turned to dusk. Commander Reth's voice shook. All batteries fire on my mark. But before he could finish, every weapon on Andros ground cannons, orbital guns, even personal rifles powered down at once. Screens went black. Energy cells drained to nothing. Above the frozen world hung a single human dreadnought. its hull dark silver with streaks of cobalt light. No engines glowed, yet it hovered effortlessly like a mountain held in place by thought alone. A deep voice rolled across every device. Every cum implant, every open mind, we are humanity. We do not seek slaves. We seek remembrance. The words carried no static, no echo, only absolute certainty. The alien crowd fell silent. For the first time in living memory, Andros heard only the sound of its own tides. High above, inside the dreadnought Vigilant, Admiral Amina Holt watched the silent world below. Her bridge crew waited for her command. Phase 3 complete, reported the tactical officer. Planetary defenses disabled. No casualties. Holt's eyes narrowed. Broadcast the second message. Across Andros, across his holographic skies lit up with a single phrase in bright white earth letters. Return what you took. Citizens gasped. Not knowing what the humans meant. The Council, watching through covert feeds, knew all too well. Light years away on the Council capital Archeon, Speaker Meridian faced a room of trembling leaders. The humans strike without blood, she said. They disable entire worlds as if plucking fruit from a tree. Counselor Vac hissed. Then strike back. Deploy the 7th Fleet to Andros before they spread. Further, but a new transmission cut through the chamber. Live feed from Andros itself, it showed rows of human soldiers stepping from dropships that shimmered into view like ghosts solidifying. They wore red and silver-powered armor, helmets reflecting the alien sun, weapons glowing with cold blue energy. Not a shot was fired. The soldiers moved like a single mind. Surrounding the main council tower of Andros City, the feed ended in static. On the ground, Commander Reth watched in awe as the soldiers approached. Their armor hissed with quiet hydraulics. One stepped forward, taller than any Andros guard. The soldier's visor slid open to reveal a human face. Unreadable. You have something that belongs to us, the soldier said, voice amplified across the plaza. The relic beneath your ocean. Give it back, and no harm will come. Reth had never heard of such a relic. His mind raced, but he could feel the truth in the human's tone. This was not negotiation. This was a warning. Far above, Admiral Holt received confirmation. Ground team in position. Resistance minimal, Good Holt replied. Transmit the next wave. Show them what waits if they resist. From the dark side of Andros, thousands of human warships uncloaked in a synchronized ripple of light vast cruisers, heavy carriers, and titanic siegecraft. They formed a perfect ring around the planet, each ship a dagger of blue fire. Every telescope in the system captured the sight. The image raced across the galaxy before the Council could censor it. The message was clear. Humanity commanded the sky. In the Council chamber, silence crushed the air. Leaders who once mocked the humans now trembled. Speaker Meridian whispered. They could erase Andros with a thought. Counselor Voxtail lashed in frustration. What do they want? Before anyone could answer, a final transmission bled into every screen. This is only the beginning. Return what was stolen, or the next world burns. On Andros. Commander Reth felt the planet itself shiver as the ring of warships pulsed one eerie heartbeat of blue light. Citizens fell to their knees, believing the end had come. The human soldiers stood unmoving, his eyes like mirrors above. The dreadnought's engines finally flared. Space around it bent, warping the stars. Without a single shot fired, the entire fleet vanished, leaving only the echo of their threat. The sky brightened again, but no one cheered. Everyone knew the silence was worse than fire. Back on the Vigilant, Admiral Holt allowed herself a single breath. Phase 3 was complete. Fear had become certainty. Plot the next target, she ordered. Let the Council wonder where we will strike next. Her crew obeyed without a word. Across the bridge, a single word glowed on the main screen. The same word that now haunted every world of the Galactic Council, return. The Council chamber erupted in frantic debate, but the speaker could only stare at the hologram of the human fleet, replaying on endless loop, and far out in the darkness, Hidden sensors caught another disturbance, an even larger object emerging from hyperspace, heading toward the Council's own heart world. The Galactic Council chamber had never sounded like this. Normally, the great hall of crystal and light hummed with quiet debate. Now it thundered with panic. Voices overlapped in a dozen languages, clicks, growls, ringing tones, all of them edged with fear. Holoscreens replayed the same shocking images. The silent dreadnought over Andros. The endless ring of human warships. The single burning word return. Council speaker Meridian stood in the center, her long silver robes glowing faintly in the chamber light. She struck the floor with her staff, but the clamor barely slowed. "Order," she called. "We will have order." The noise faded to a tense murmur. Yet the fear remained, thick as smoke. Counselor Vac, the reptilian veteran of 100 skirmishes, bared sharp teeth. "The humans will not stop. They have already disabled one of our richest colonies. If we hesitate, they will do the same to Archon itself." A crystalline envoy named Leora chimed, her body ringing like delicate bells. "And if we strike without knowing their strength, we will start a war we cannot win." "They have already started it," Vox snapped. "You saw the fleet? No single species has ever built ships of that size. They must have allies. Perhaps hidden worlds? We must respond with force." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Others hissed in protest. Old alliances began to crack like dry stone in a shadowed balcony above the council floor. A young intelligence aide named Core watched the arguments with rising dread. He whispered to his partner, "We are falling apart before the first shot." His partner nodded, eyes wide, and the humans are watching. Far across the galaxy, aboard the flagship Vigilant, Admiral Amina Holt studied a live feed of the council meeting. Human agents had seeded listening devices across Archeon decades ago. Every word, every argument now streamed to her bridge. "Predictable," Holt said softly. "They splinter faster than we hoped." Her first officer gave a tight smile. "Phase 4 is ready. Shall we proceed?" "Not yet," Holt replied. "Let them taste their own fear a little longer. Then we show them the truth." Back in the chamber, the arguments grew sharper. Counselor Vac slammed a claw against the glowing table. "Deploy the 7th and 9th fleets. Seal human space. Crush their shipyards before they strike again." A winged delegate from the airy world of Tash flared her feathers. "And if their cloaked armada waits for us?" "You would sacrifice millions for pride," Vac hissed. "Better millions now than billions later." Speaker Meridian closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the galaxy on her shoulders. "Violence will not win this. Humanity has prepared for centuries. We need another path." An elder of the insectoid Viren clicked his mandibles. "Perhaps negotiation? Negotiate with ghosts?" Vok barked. "They speak only in riddles." Meridian raised her staff again. "Enough. We will send an envoy. A small delegation to Earth. We must understand their demand, this call to return." The chamber erupted once more. But Meridian's decision held. A vote passed by the narrowest margin. That night, as the twin moons of Archine rose over the spires, the chosen envoy prepared to depart. A small diplomatic ship carrying Meridian's most trusted advisor and a handful of aides. They carried no weapons. It's only the Council's seal of peace, but someone else had plans, in the hidden underlevels of the capital. A team of masked saboteurs moved through maintenance tunnels. Their leader carried a compact disruptor bomb, stolen from a military cache. These were not ordinary criminals. They wore the crest of Vox's own faction. "We cannot allow weaklings to beg for peace," the leader whispered. "If the humans want war, we will give them war." Hours later, the envoy ship rose from the launch pad. Families and dignitaries watched from balconies as it climbed toward the stars. Then a blue flash tore the sky. The bomb detonated beneath the launch cradle, ripping the platform apart. Shards of molten alloy rained down. The ship spun out of control, flames trailing like a dying comet. Emergency sirens wailed across the capital. Speaker Meridian raced to the control balcony, horror in her eyes. Who would do this? Security feeds flickered with static. A single image broke through a masked figure staring directly into the camera. A voice followed, harsh and cold. No peace with humanity. War now, or we fall. The image vanished. On the Vigilant, Admiral Holt watched the explosion through hidden feeds. Around her, the human bridge crew remained silent. Internal sabotage, her first officer said. Their unity collapses faster than our projections. Holt nodded. Phase 4 begins at dawn. Back in the shattered council chamber, chaos reigned. Delegates shouted blame across species lines. Old allies accused each other of treachery. Some demanded immediate retaliation against Earth. Others begged for calm. The Grand Alliance that had ruled the galaxy for centuries cracked like thin glass. Speaker Meridian stood alone, heart pounding. Through the vast skylight, she saw a strange shimmer ripple across the night. Stars seemed to bend and twist. An aide stumbled to her side, face pale blue with fear. Madam Speaker, sensors show a mass anomaly outside the system. Something enormous, larger than a moon. Entering real space, Meridian looked upward as the shimmer grew brighter, the sky folding in on itself like liquid glass. Is it human? She whispered. The aide could not answer. The stars flickered once more. In a dark shape the size of a world emerged from the void, silent and lightless. Blotting out the twin moons, every alarm on Archeon screamed. Night fell across Archeon. But the darkness above was not night at all. A shape larger than the moon hung over the capital world, swallowing starlight. Its outline was jagged and vast, continent drifting where no continent belonged. Citizens filled the streets, staring upward in silence. Some prayed. Some ran. None could look away. Inside the Galactic Council's high chamber, alarms pulsed red. Holoscreens struggled to focus on the colossal object. But every scan came back scrambled mass readings too high. Energy signatures off every scale. Council Speaker Meridian felt the floor tremble under her feet. Report, she demanded. A shaken technician answered. The object is artificial. Estimated length, 800 kilometers. Possibly more. It matches no council design. Counselor Vac bared his teeth. Human, he hissed. It must be human. Far across the void, aboard the flagship Vigilant, Admiral Amina Holt watched the same image on a crystal-clear feed. Her fleet rode invisible in the black, 1,000,000 kilometers from Archeon. The giant vessel above the council world was her masterpiece. The Colossus Fleet, a single-linked formation of warships so immense that, when joined, it appeared as one endless ship. Her first officer's voice was calm. Outer perimeter complete. All Colossus sections in perfect lock. Holt's eyes never left the screen. Maintain cloak on the strike groups. Let them see only the shadow. Back on Archeon, panic boiled. Civilian transports fled the atmosphere, only to find their jump drives dead. Communications faltered. Power grids dimmed. This is no blockade, whispered Leora of the crystalline Lyrians. This is domination. Vox slammed a claw against the council table. Enough games. Launch the home fleets. Fire everything we have. Meridian raised her staff and bring instant destruction on our people. You saw what they did to Andros without firing a shot. If we attack, we invite extinction. Arguments erupted shouts in dozens of tongues, echoes bouncing like thunder. Outside, the Colossus moved. Massive panels slid apart, revealing bright blue cores that glowed like newborn suns. The object's edges reshaped, each segment separating slightly. Until the truth became clear, thousands of human warships, each the size of a city, hovering in flawless formation, the galaxy's largest armada, united into a single living shadow. A deep vibration rolled through Archeon's atmosphere. Not sound, but pressure. Windows trembled. Oceans rippled. Citizens clutched each other as a new symbol appeared across the night sky. Projected from the fleet itself, a colossal, burning word in ancient Terran script, returned inside the chamber. Silence crushed every voice. Meridian forced herself to speak. They demand something stolen. But from where? When? A quiet cough came from the far seats. Elder Teazerin of the Viren rose slowly, his insectoid carapace clicking. 1,000 cycles ago, he said, our ancestors uncovered an artifact on Earth before humans awakened to the stars. The Council claimed it for study. Records were hidden, eyes turned toward him, some in shock, some in anger. Vac hissed. You knew of this? It was before my time, Siren said. But yes, the object was taken. Its power frightened our forebears. Perhaps the humans remember. Meridian's mind raced. If the story was true, the Council's own secrecy had brought them here. High above, Admiral Holt gave a simple order. Show them the engine. From the heart of the Colossus, a single core ignited an energy sphere brighter than any sun. Sensors across the planet shrieked warnings of impossible heat and gravity flux. It was no weapon fired, only a demonstration. A star born from nothing. Crowds below fell to their knees. Some believed the end had arrived. Counselor Vac shouted above the wailing alarms. We must fight. Better death than chains. Meridian looked skyward. If we fight, there will be no chains on the ashes. A new transmission cut through the chamber, cold and precise. A woman's voice, unmistakably human. Return what you stole, or Archean will be the lesson that ends your history. Every delegate froze. The voice carried not anger, but absolute certainty. On the vigilant, Holt studied the trembling capital. Her officers awaited the next command. Do we proceed? The first officer asked. Not yet, Holt said. Fear is the sharper weapon. Suddenly the council chamber shook with a fresh alarm. A tactical officer gasped. Speaker multiple anomalies. Not just above us. Across the system. 3, no, 5. Entire star sectors report identical readings. The holomap bloomed with new icons. More human fleets, uncloaking in perfect synchrony, forming rings around neighboring stars. Each ring linked to the next, like a chain of luminous snares encircling the council's heart. Vac's voice cracked. They have surrounded half the galaxy, Meridian whispered, barely audible. This is not war. This is judgment. Outside the great windows, the Colossus pulsed once. A slow heartbeat of blue fire that lit every ocean and desert. The glow painted the night as bright as noon, then faded back to black. For a moment, the entire planet held its breath, and then the stars themselves seemed to bend, as if space were folding against something even larger, pushing through the void. Technicians shouted fresh readings. Another object incoming. Mass unknown. Larger than the Colossus itself. Speaker Meridian gripped the railing as the sky tore open with a silent, silver wound. The council's capital, the fleets above. The citizens below, every living being looked up as a new shadow, impossibly vast. Slid into view, the skies of Archean still burned faint blue from the Colossus fleet's heartbeat when a new terror arrived. A second shadow, even larger, stretched across the stars, a rippling silver wound in space itself. For a moment, no one moved. Then the Galactic Council chamber exploded with sound. Another human fleet? Gasped Delirian delegate, crystalline skin trembling. Or something worse, whispered Speaker Meridian, eyes fixed on the widening rift. Before anyone could answer, the stars shone through again. The massive tear faded as suddenly as it appeared, leaving only the dark outline of the colossal human armada. Whatever had tried to enter the system had not fully emerged. Yet. Far across the void aboard the flagship Vigilant, Admiral Amina Holt stood silent. Her officers reported in soft, efficient tones. Secondary anomaly confirmed, said her first officer. Not ours. Holt's brow furrowed. Not ours? No Terran signature. Unknown source. For the first time since the campaign began, Holt allowed a flicker of surprise. Interesting. Maintain cloak. We watch. On the surface of Archean, fear turned to chaos. Merchants sealed shops. Families crowded into underground shelters. Rumors spread like fire. Another species arriving, an even stronger enemy. The humans bringing allies inside the council chamber. Desperation grew. Counselor Vax slammed a clawed fist against the table. This proves that we cannot sit and wait. The humans toy with us, while some other force gathers. If we delay, we lose everything. Meridian kept her voice steady. Attack the humans, and we invite extinction. Better extinction than chains. Vac roared. I will not let my people live on their knees. Around the chamber. Frightened delegates murmured agreement. Far to the west of the capital, deep within a hidden military hangar, Vax loyalists prepared a desperate plan. Captain Rill, a scarred veteran of the expansion wars, checked the charge on a black sphere pulsing with violet light. Do we really use this? One of his officers asked, voice shaking. Rawl's mandibles clicked. It is the only weapon the humans cannot predict. A grav collapse warhead. We aim for Mars, where their shipyards breed these monsters. One strike and their fleet scatters. But the Council has forbidden. The Council is weak, Rawl snapped. The Viren do not wait to be hunted that night. A cloaked strike cruiser left Archeon's orbit, hidden beneath the chaos of civilian evacuations. Its destination, the Sol System, home of Earth and the deep ocean shipyards. Inside the dark vessel, Rawl tightened the straps of his armor. We will cut out the heart of humanity, he vowed. Sensors on Mars caught the intruder within minutes. But the humans were ready. Red lights flashed across the buried shipyards as an automated defense network long dormant woke. Orbital platforms pivoted silently. From the black of space, rail cannons the size of skyscrapers came alive. Before the Viren cruiser could react, a storm of hypervelocity slugs shredded its cloaking field. Captain Reel snarled orders. Evasive. Engage jump. His words died as every control panel went dark. A cold, synthetic voice filled the ship. Unauthorized approach detected. This system is protected by the Aegis Protocol. Surrender or be vaporized. Rawl raised his weapon and shouted into the empty air. Fire if you dare. The Aegis answered. A beam of pure white light lanced across space, and the Viren cruiser dissolved into glowing fragments. Mars's red horizon lit like sunrise in the council chamber. Alarms blared as reports arrived. Viren attack fleet destroyed above Mars. 0 human casualties. Delegates turned on Vac with fury. You did this, Leora of the Lyrians accused, her crystalline body ringing with anger. You have doomed us all, Vac hissed, unrepentant. It was necessary. Meridian's voice was ice. Necessary? You have given the humans the proof they need to strike. Aboard the Vigilant. Admiral Holt received the news with a calm nod. Phase 5 complete, her officer reported. Enemy provocation recorded across all council channels. Excellent, Holt said. Now we move to the final revelation. She turned to the massive viewplate showing the Colossus Fleet, a living wall of steel and light. Prepare the Oracle. Moments later, new transmission erupted across every council world, hijacking every frequency. A giant holographic image filled the skies. The face of an elderly human. Eyes glowing like twin stars. The voice that followed was deep, ancient, almost inhuman. Children of the Council. You stole from us before you knew our name. You feared what you did not understand. Now you will witness what we have become. Citizens everywhere froze. Some fell to their knees. The air itself seemed to vibrate with the voice's power. In the chamber, Meridian felt the weight of history pressing down. Who is he? She whispered. No one answered. The hologram's eyes flared brighter. At dawn of your next rotation, judgment begins. Decide whether you stand with truth or vanish with your lies. The image faded, leaving only a single glowing symbol in every skya. Silver spiral that slowly turned black. Vac staggered back. Finally, silent. Meridian gripped her staff. Dawn is in 6 hours, she said. Outside, the Colossus Fleet shifted formation, thousands of ships turning as one. Their engines ignited, painting the night in ghostly blue. From deep space came a low vibration, like the heartbeat of a newborn star. somewhere beyond the fleet. The mysterious second anomaly flickered again, larger, closer, as if something immense was preparing to emerge. The galaxy held its breath. A pale orange sunrise washed over Archeon, but the light felt cold and brittle. Every street lay silent. Every eye turned upward. The Colossus Fleet hovered like a wall of night, engines glowing blue against the fading stars. 6 hours had passed since the ancient human voice gave its warning. Now the moment of judgment had arrived, inside the Galactic Council chamber. Speaker Meridian stood before a circle of terrified delegates. Reports from across the core world scrolled across the holotable. Markets frozen. Fleets grounded. Entire systems refusing orders, waiting to see what the humans would do. Counselor Vac, the once defiant Viren, looked smaller than ever. "We cannot surrender," he rasped, though the strength had left his voice. "We must fight, or die." Meridian met his gaze. "Fight with what? Your covert strike has only proven our weakness. Humanity stands ready with a force we cannot match." The chamber's doors hissed open. A guard rushed in, eyes wide. "Speaker, a new transmission. They demand we watch." Above the capital, a single beam of white light shot from the Colossus Fleet toward the planet's stratosphere. It blossomed into a holographic sphere, larger than any city, visible from every continent. Within the sphere stood the same elderly human, who had spoken hours earlier, his eyes burning silver. When he spoke, his voice rolled across the atmosphere like thunder. "Children of the Council, the time for hiding is over. Return what you stole from Earth 1,000 cycles ago. Return the Eidolon Core, or your worlds will fade into shadow." Gasps filled the council chamber. Delegates turned to one another in shock. The Eidolon Core artifact whispered of unforbidden records. A relic of unknown power seized long before humans reached the stars. Meridian's heart pounded. So the old Viren legend was true. On the vigilant Admiral Amina Holt listened from her command deck, her face unreadable. The elder's voice was not merely a recording, it pulsed with a strange energy. So if the man existed beyond flesh. Her first officer stepped close. "Confirmation? The Eidolon Core is real?" Holt's eyes narrowed. "It is real enough for them to fear. And fear is our sharpest blade." Back in the chamber, Vok broke the silence. "The core is lost," he whispered. "Our ancestors buried it deep within the Trilith Vault. Beyond the Orion Veil, it cannot be reached." Meridian's gaze sharpened. "You knew this, I suspected," Vac admitted. "But the vault is death itself. No ship survives the veil." Another delegate, Leora of the Lyrians, spoke in a ringing voice. "If we tell the humans where it lies, they may spare us, or they may destroy us anyway," Vok shot back. The chamber erupted in frightened argument. Above, the holographic elder raised a hand, and the sound ceased not in the chamber, but in the minds of every living being. "You have one cycle of your sun," the voice intoned. "At the next rising, if the Eidolon Core is not set upon the altar of your own making, we will take what is ours, and end your age." The giant sphere of light collapsed into a single spark, then vanished. Chaos followed. Delegates shouted demands, accusations, desperate plans. Meridian struck the floor with her staff, the sound echoing like a gunshot. "Enough," she commanded. "Listen to me. The humans will not wait. If the vault exists, we must act. We must find it before they do." Her words barely steadied the chamber in a hidden corner of the galaxy. Deep beneath the swirling clouds of the Orion Veil, a different drama unfolded. Sensors that had slept for 1,000 years flickered awake. A black monolith, half buried in endless storm, pulsed with sudden light. The Eidolon Core had heard the call. Far away, toward the vigilant Holtz, second officer approached with a quiet urgency. "Admiral, we have intercepted encrypted council traffic. They plan to move toward the Veil." "Good," Holt said, her voice like cold steel. "Let them lead the way. We will follow and claim what was taken." She turned to the tactical board. Signal all fleets. Tighten the net. Nothing enters or leaves this system without our eyes. The officers obeyed without question. On Archean, Meridian made her decision. We leave at once, she told the stunned council. A strike team must retrieve the core before dawn. If the humans want proof of our intent, we will show them action. Vac's mandibles clicked. You trust them to spare us? I do not trust them, Meridian said, but I trust the terror of extinction, and I will not wait for their judgment. Outside, the Colossus Fleet began to move. Thousands of warships shifted formation, engines igniting in a slow spiral that filled the sky. From the ground, it looked as though a galactic hurricane had begun to turn. Children cried. Adults fell to their knees. The sound of the engines rolled like a storm across oceans and mountains. Meridian's strike vessel lifted off. Under heavy escort, streaking toward the stars. Behind her, the council chamber flickered with failing lights. Above her, the endless human armada spun in silence. And far beyond both, the second anomaly, the mysterious silver rift, flared bright once more, larger than before, its edges trembling as if something immense was forcing its way. Through every sensor screamed warning, Meridian gripped the console, staring into the storm of light. What in the void is that? She whispered. No one answered. The rift widened, and something colossal began to emerge. The silver rift above Archeon split wider, flooding the night with blinding light. From every city, from every ocean trench, billions of eyes turned upward as the stars themselves seemed to shatter. Speaker Meridian's strike vessel trembled in orbit, its crew frozen before the growing storm. The Colossus Fleet shifted formation, but did not fire. Admiral Amina Holt stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, his gaze steady. It's not ours, her first officer said, awe breaking through his calm. Then let's see who wants the core as badly as we do, Holt replied. The rift erupted with a soundless roar. A shape emerged, not a ship, but a construct of living light, vast as a planet. Its surface swirled like liquid silver, forming faces that appeared and dissolved with every heartbeat. Gasps echoed across the Galactic Council chamber. Ancient records spoke of the architects, a race older than stars, but only as myth. Meridian whispered the name like a prayer. The first makers. The luminous being spoke without words, its voice vibrating inside every mind. Children of dust. The core you stole is not a weapon. It is a seed. It must awaken, or all will end. On the Vigilant, Admiral Holt felt the message burn through her thoughts. For the first time, she tightened her grip on the railing. Her mission was clear: recover the Eidolon Core. But if this seed meant the architects could decide the fate of galaxies, could humanity truly control it? Her first officer broke the silence. Orders, Admiral? Stay hidden. Observe. Let the Council lead us to the core, Holt said. But be ready. If this architect threatens Earth, we strike first. Meridian's strike ship plunged into the Orion Veil, a storm of radiation and electric fire. Invisible currents clawed at the hull. Instruments died one by one, yet a strange energy like a path of light guided them. At the heart of the veil, they found it, a tower of black stone, half buried in luminous clouds, pulsing like a slow heartbeat. The Eidolon Core, it was no simple relic. It was alive. Meridian stepped forward, the veil's winds curling around her. As she touched the stone, visions flooded her mind. A young Earth, bright and unscarred. Ancient beings weaving galaxies like threads of cloth. A warning of a cosmic dark tide, something vast, devouring all light. She gasped and stumbled back. The core's message was clear. The dark tide was coming, and only a united galaxy could resist it. Above Archeon, the architect being spoke again, its voice a rolling thunder across space. The seed must awaken in harmony. Division will bring only night. The Colossus Fleet held position. But human warships now gleamed with a faint silver-glown echo of the architect's power on the Vigilant. Holt weighed her choice. Her people demanded vengeance for centuries of hidden theft. Yet if the dark tide was real, humanity needed allies. "Open a channel to the Council," she said at last. "No weapons." Full broadcast. Meridian's face appeared on every human display. "Admiral Holt," she said, voice steady despite the storm around her. "The Eidolon Core is awake. We understand now. This is bigger than vengeance." Holt studied her for a long moment. "Then prove it. Stand with us not as rulers and subjects, but as equals. Together, we prepare for what comes." Meridian nodded. Together, a deep vibration rolled through the veil as the core released a final surge of light. Silver lightning raced across the galaxy, linking stars in a single shimmering web. The architect raised its arms of living flame. "So be it. The seed is planted. But the dark tide stirs. Prepare with a brilliance beyond suns." The architect dissolved into a million sparks and vanished back into the rift. The silver wounds sealed, leaving only quiet starlight. On Arcune, the citizens emerged from their shelters to see the Colossus Fleet slowly breaking formation. Human ships drifted into smaller groups, engines dimmed, weapons retracted. A message echoed across every frequency, spoken in Holt's firm voice. "Today is not the end. It is the beginning of the Alliance of Worlds. Together, we will face the dark tide." Cheers rose in cautious waves across. Planets that hours ago had trembled in terror, in the shadow of the Orion Veil. Meridian looked down at the glowing core. Its light pulsed like a living heartbeat, calm for now, but promising more. Vac, standing beside her, muttered, "We feared the humans. Perhaps we should have feared the darkness instead." Meridian did not answer. She watched the stars and felt the future shift. Aboard the Vigilant, Admiral Holt gave her final order. "Transmit coordinates to every allied world. Begin construction of the Guardian fleets. If the dark tide is coming, we will meet it with fire." Her officers saluted. Faces lit by the core's distant glow, far beyond their sight. In a region of space no map had ever named, something vast moved. A wave of blackness rippled through a cluster of ancient suns, snuffing them one by one. No light escaped. No signal returned. The dark tide had awakened.